Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Razak at CMTrading. Today is August 8th, 2022, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the highlights of the day, Tesla stock takes a dive below that 200-day moving average. I'm going to take a look at that. But first, no major economic events scheduled for today. But looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, the major pairs taper off. Well, looking at the indices, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ take a bit of a breather after a massive rally over the past week and a half. Now looking at commodities, gold unchanged while oil bounces. Looking at the stock, FAANG stocks and Microsoft remain buoyant. But the question is, will they continue towards the end of the summer? Now lastly, looking at cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin remains steady. However, does it look like it's going to correct itself once again? So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So here we go. We're taking a look at the Euro USD. We've come to a certain threshold here. We see that there are several support levels here. Those are two support levels. 101.53 is one. We're about 20 pips away from that. We've been in a choppy market, not a tremendously volatile market, but ever since we hit that low on July 14th, we've bounced off of it. We're in a certain range, okay? And you can see that right now. We're getting closer to that bottom of the range. So this may become interesting if this does continue breaking down. Now remember, we're coming towards the end of the summer, okay? Traditionally speaking, the end of the summer is generally a low volatile trading environment. So just be aware that as we continue into today's trading session and as we go into the next couple of weeks. Now looking at the GBP USD, it remains somewhat buoyant, 120.75 after selling off quite aggressively after the interest rate decision last week, but it remains a little bit buoyant here. Looking at the Aussie Dollar also did bounce a little bit, but nothing really to write home about. We're trading between our two moving averages on lower volume. You can see that. Okay, so nothing really just happening just tremendously here. Now jumping into commodities, gold trading at 1775. Okay, as we're looking at right now, week to week, no change really. Crude oil, it's been kind of interesting here. Okay, it did take a dive last week from $98 down to $88, a big move for oil. Now it's bouncing here at $89. Is this a dead cat bounce? It's yet to be seen, as this is still making corrections from our high of 130 since the war opened up with Ukraine and Russia. Now looking at the US markets, first the Dow Jones, looking at its top level, 32,800. Looks like it had a nice rally. It did get a nice rally. Question is it sustainable at this level? And we'll only find out in the next 2 to 3 weeks if it is. And then going into September, we're going to see a bit of a shift in the market, and that's going to be kind of interesting as well. Now looking at the NASDAQ, did get to this level of 13,300. We're just shy of it, about 50 points. Okay, so it does look like it's gotten stronger. Again, the question is, can it sustain itself in this recessionary environment? The question is how bad this recession is going to turn into. So let's take a look at the stocks. First, looking at Tesla, look at this massive nosedive. Okay, we went down from 933 down to 863, which is a big number. Okay, $70 in a couple of days is a big number, a gap down and then a sell-off. Now we are looking that we're dropping below that 200-day moving average. This is really very important. And then over the 8-day moving average, we broke it as well. So this is two very important factors, and the fact that we pushed it lower on higher volume also increases some of the fire. So I do expect some more pressure on the downside when it comes to Tesla. But looking at the other stocks, Apple remains strong somewhat, did give up some of its gains, but still had some that gain. Looking at Alcoa, just trading in a range really. Facebook also got to that top of the range, but still, nothing to really write home about. Microsoft did get some gains here and closed off at that upper level of 282. If we look at Amazon and both Google, they remain strong, okay? They're all on their highs. 118 Google, 140 Amazon. So those are pretty decent numbers for us to be in. Question is it sustainable? Okay, and we're only going to find that out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So it's going to be a very, very telling sign. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, we're trading at 23,700-ish level. As it's gotten stronger on the upper side, But again, can it sustain itself? That's going to be a very important factor to consider. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day.